Hello, and welcome to Best English Podcast. My name is Sophia, and I want to start by asking you about a sound. That sound your alarm clock makes. Does it feel like a gentle invitation to a new day, or does it feel like a punishment? When your day begins with a battle against your own bed, how can you possibly expect to win the rest of it? We are about to dive deep into a topic that could truly change how you experience your life. And if you are ready for that kind of change, I invite you to take just a single second right now to subscribe to our channel and click that little notification bell. It's a small click that ensures you and I can continue this journey of learning and growing together. Now, think about this morning. When your eyes opened in that quiet space between sleep and wakefulness, what was the very first feeling that washed over you? Was it that heavy blanket of dread? That instant mental download of your to-do list? The emails you have to answer? The problems you have to solve? The people you have to please? For so many of us, the morning has become a time of chaos, of reacting, of being pulled into the world's problems through the bright screen of our phones before we have even had a chance to find our own center. We drag ourselves into the day feeling tired, rushed, and already defeated. But what if I told you that the morning you dream of having, the one that feels calm, peaceful, spacious, and full of genuine hope, is not a fantasy? What if I told you that the secret to that beautiful day is hidden in the first hour after you wake up, and that you, right now, already hold all the power you need to create it? Today, we are going to explore the simple, practical, and truly life-changing tools to start your day with a positive mindset. This is not about pretending to be happy. It's about building a real foundation of inner strength and peace that can support you through anything your day might bring. So, find a comfortable place. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Take a slow, deep breath with me now, in and out. And let's begin to learn how you can become the true creator of your own beautiful day. Let's imagine two people for a moment. We'll call them Alex and Sarah. On the surface, their lives are quite similar. They both have demanding jobs, families they love, and the usual daily responsibilities and pressures. But the way they experience their lives, the way they feel from moment to moment, is completely different. Their secret is not in what happens to them, but in how they begin their day. Let's spend some more time with Alex. His alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. The sound is a loud, jarring buzz that seems to pierce right through his skull. Alex's first conscious thought is almost always a groan. Already? No, just 5 more minutes. His hand slams down on the snooze button. This is his first decision of the day, a decision to retreat, to delay, to avoid. 9 minutes later, the alarm screams again. He hits snooze again. This little battle continues 2 or 3 more times until he is in a state of panicked half-sleep. Finally, knowing he is running late, his first real action, even before his eyes can properly focus, is to reach for his smartphone on the nightstand. His thumb automatically, habitually, swipes to open his work email, and immediately his peace is stolen. His mind is instantly flooded. There are 20 new emails that arrived overnight. One is an urgent, demanding message from his boss, with words in capital letters about a problem with a major project. His heart starts to beat a little faster, a familiar tightness gripping his chest. He feels a surge of adrenaline, the body's fight-or-flight response being triggered before his feet have even touched the floor. He then scrolls through the news headlines. There's a political argument that makes him angry. a story about a global crisis that makes him feel helpless, an article about the rising cost of living that makes him feel anxious about his own finances. A thick fog of anxiety begins to creep into his chest. Then, almost as a form of self-punishment, he opens social media. He sees carefully curated pictures of a friend on a breathtaking vacation in a tropical paradise. He sees a former colleague announcing a big promotion with a fancy new job title. He sees a family he knows posing happily in front of a beautiful new home they just bought. Without even realizing it, he starts to compare. A quiet, vicious voice in his head begins to whisper, "You're not doing enough. Your life is so boring and small. Look at what everyone else is achieving. You're falling behind." He finally throws his legs over the side of the bed at 7:15 a.m., already 45 minutes into his day, but feeling like he's lost before he has even begun. He feels behind schedule, overwhelmed, stressed, and a little bit empty inside. He rushes through a quick shower, but his mind is not there. It's racing, rehearsing an angry reply to his boss, worrying about the project, feeling resentful about his friend's vacation. The warm water might as well be cold for all he notices. He goes to the kitchen and grabs a quick cup of coffee and a piece of toast, barely tasting them as he props his phone up against the sugar bowl, scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. He yells at his kids to, "Hurry up! We're going to be late!" The tone in his voice is sharp and impatient, and he sees a flash of hurt in their eyes, which adds a layer of guilt on top of his stress. On his way to work, he feels a flash of intense irritation at the traffic, gripping the steering wheel tightly, muttering under his breath at other drivers. By the time he walks into his office, he feels exhausted, like he's already lived an entire stressful day. For Alex, the day is something to be endured, a series of fires to put out, a long road to be traveled until he can collapse at the end of it. Does any of this sound familiar? Perhaps not all of it, but maybe that feeling of being hijacked by your phone? Or that sense of starting the day on the defensive. Many of us are living versions of Alex's morning, unaware of the profound and negative impact it has on every single hour that follows. Now, let's step into Sarah's world. Her alarm also goes off at 6:30 a.m., but it's a gentle, calming sound, like soft, ascending bells that slowly bring her out of sleep. This is an intentional choice. Her phone, the source of Alex's chaos, is not next to her bed. It's in the kitchen, plugged into the charger. It has its own place to sleep, and it is not in her bedroom. For the very first few minutes of her day, she does something radical in our modern world. She does nothing. She just lies in her bed, still and quiet, allowing her mind and body to arrive in the new day. She takes a few slow, deep, conscious breaths, a long breath in, and a slow breath out. She doesn't think about her to-do list or any problems. She just focuses on the simple, miraculous, and often overlooked fact that she is breathing, that her body is working, that she is alive for another day. This simple act connects her to the present moment. Then, she gently begins to wake up her body. She stretches her arms high above her head, pointing her toes, feeling the life and energy returning to her limbs. It is a stretch of gratitude, of kindness to her physical self. As she sits up on the side of the bed, before her feet touch the floor, she performs a small but powerful ritual. She thinks of 3 specific, unique things she is grateful for. This morning, she thinks, "I am grateful for the deep, restful sleep I had. I feel restored." Then, "I am grateful for the sound of the birds singing outside my window. It's a beautiful, free concert." And finally, I am grateful for the thought of the delicious tea I am about to make and enjoy. A small, genuine, unforced smile appears on her face. This isn't a huge, dramatic moment, but it's a significant shift. She has intentionally chosen to begin her emotional day with appreciation. She gets out of bed and walks to the kitchen. She fills a glass with water and stands by the window as she drinks it, watching the sky begin to brighten. She drinks it slowly, imagining the clean water hydrating and energizing every cell in her body, a quiet act of self-care. While her tea is brewing, she might do a few simple stretches or simply look out the window, observing the colors of the morning sky. She does not rush. She moves with a sense of calm purpose, owning these first precious moments. When she eventually does check her phone, perhaps almost an hour after waking, her mind is prepared. It is not a fragile, suggestible, half-asleep mind. It is a mind that is calm, centered, and already filled with her own positivity. She sees the same type of urgent email from her boss that Alex saw, but her internal reaction is completely different. Instead of immediate panic, her thought is, okay, this is a challenge. I have the resources and focus to figure this out. Trau. She sees the same news and social media posts, but they don't destabilize her sense of self-worth because she has already affirmed her own value and gratitude. She has already filled her own cup, so the outside world cannot so easily empty it. She leaves for work feeling calm, focused, and ready for whatever the day may bring. She interacts with her family with patience and warmth. For Sarah, the day is an opportunity, an adventure to be lived, not just an ordeal to be survived. The critical difference between Alex and Sarah is not their external circumstances, it is their internal practice. Alex begins his day by reacting to a flood of external information, problems, comparisons, demands, and negativity. He gives the power over his own mood to his phone. Sarah, on the other hand, begins her day proactively with internal intention, breath, gratitude, and peace. She takes the power back. The first hour of your day is often called the golden hour for a very scientific reason. When you first wake up, your brain is transitioning from a deep sleep state, characterized by delta and theta brainwaves, to a waking state, characterized by alpha and beta brainwaves. In that early period after waking, your brain is in a highly receptive alpha state. This is a state of relaxed awareness, similar to a state of light meditation or daydreaming. In this state, your subconscious mind is more open and suggestible. It's like soft, warm clay, ready to be shaped. Whatever information, emotions, and thoughts you put into your mind during this time will disproportionately affect your mood and mindset for the rest of the day. It's a process called priming. When Alex floods his brain with stress and comparison, he is priming his mind for a day of negativity. His brain then spends the rest of the day looking for evidence to confirm this initial input. It looks for more things to be stressed about, more reasons to feel inadequate. When Sarah fills her mind with gratitude and calm, she is priming her brain for a day of positivity. Her brain will then actively scan her environment for things to appreciate, for solutions to problems, for opportunities for connection. They are both creating a self-fulfilling prophecy, starting from the very first moments of their day. So, the very first and perhaps most powerful step in starting your day with a positive mindset is to reclaim your morning from your phone. For many of us, our phone is the first thing we touch when we wake up and the last thing we see before we sleep. It has become an extension of our bodies. But inviting the entire digital world into your bed the second you wake up is like opening your front door and letting 1,000 shouting, demanding strangers into your home before you've even had a chance to put on your clothes. It is an overwhelming, chaotic violation of your personal peace. It immediately puts you in a reactive mode, where your day is instantly defined by responding to other people's demands, news, and dramas, instead of you proactively and consciously creating your own peaceful start. The emails, the messages, the updates, the news, they can all wait. They will all be there in an hour. But your peace of mind, that is a fragile and precious resource in the morning, and it needs to be fiercely protected. I want you to try a little experiment, a practice for yourself, starting tonight. Before you go to sleep, I want you to make one small but significant change. Find a new place for your phone to sleep, and make sure it is not in your bedroom. Maybe it's a spot in the living room or a corner of the kitchen. If you use it as an alarm clock, I encourage you to invest in a simple, inexpensive alarm clock. They still exist, and they only do one job, without tempting you with a universe of distractions. The goal is to create a technology-free sanctuary in your bedroom. We want to create a space of at least 30, and ideally 60, minutes between the moment your eyes open and the moment you first look at a screen. This might feel genuinely uncomfortable at first. You might feel a psychological pull, a twitch in your thumb, a mental craving to check what you've missed. This is a normal withdrawal symptom, and it's a sign of how deeply this habit is ingrained. But just notice that feeling, acknowledge it without judgment, and then let it pass. Instead of reaching for your phone, I want you to try one of Sarah's simple practices. Just lie there for a few minutes. Can you do that? Yun, just for 2 minutes tomorrow. Notice the feeling of your body in the bed, the weight of the blankets. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. Listen to the quiet sounds of your home. And just breathe. This simple act of not reaching for your phone is a powerful declaration of self-respect. It says, "My peace is more important than my notifications. My personal agenda comes before the world's agenda for me. I am in control of my morning." So, try this for 1 week, just 1 week, and observe the difference in how you feel. The world will not end if you don't check your email at 6:31 a.m. But your world, your inner world, might just begin to change in the most beautiful ways. Once we have created that small sacred space of silence in our morning, free from the digital noise, we can begin to fill it with something truly powerful and transformative. We can fill it with gratitude. Now, the word gratitude is used a lot these days, and sometimes it can feel like a superficial or passive concept. But the practice of gratitude is one of the most robustly researched and scientifically proven methods for increasing happiness, reducing depression, and improving overall well-being. It's not about ignoring the difficulties and challenges in your life. It's about actively, consciously, and deliberately choosing to also notice the good things, no matter how small or simple they may seem. Think of it like this. Your mind is like a garden. If you don't actively plant and tend to flowers, weeds will grow automatically and effortlessly. Negative thoughts, worries, fears, and complaints are the weeds. They don't require any effort to appear. But gratitude, appreciation, joy, and contentment are the flowers. They require gentle, consistent planting and watering. A daily gratitude practice is the simple process of planting those flowers every single morning, so that eventually your garden has more flowers than weeds. Let's revisit the story of Maria. Maria was in her late 40s and had worked for the same company for almost 20 years. She was a dedicated, loyal, and hardworking employee. Her job was more than a job. It was a huge part of her identity. She had built her career there, made friends there, and she believed her future was secure. But one Tuesday afternoon, she was called into her manager's office and was told, in a cold and impersonal way, that her position was being eliminated due to company-wide restructuring. She was being laid off, effective immediately. Maria was completely devastated. The news shattered her sense of security and self-worth. The first few weeks were a blur of shock, sadness, and a deep, simmering anger. She would wake up each morning with a heavy, sinking feeling in her stomach, a physical weight of dread. Her mind would immediately start its painful, looping monologue. How will I pay my mortgage? Who will hire someone my age in this competitive market? I gave them 20 years of my life, and this is how they repay me. I'm a failure. Her days were spent aimlessly watching television or scrolling through job websites, feeling more and more hopeless with each application she sent that received no reply. A friend, seeing her spiraling into a dark place, gave her a simple, empty notebook and a pen. I know this might sound completely ridiculous right now, her friend said with gentle empathy. But please, just try this. Every morning, before you do anything else, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be big things. In fact, it's better if they're small. Anything. Maria was deeply skeptical. Grateful? She scoffed. What on earth do I have to be grateful for? I just lost my job, my career, my future. But her friend persisted, and Maria, feeling she had nothing to lose, agreed to try. The first morning was incredibly difficult. She sat with the blank page, her mind a stubborn wall of negativity. It felt like a pointless, foolish exercise. Finally, with great effort, she wrote, 1. This cup of coffee. At least it's hot. 2. The sun is shining today, I guess. 3. My cat is sleeping on my lap and purring. It felt silly, childish, and she was sure it was a waste of time. But she had promised her friend she would try for a week. So she did it again the next day and the day after that. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, something inside her began to shift. The act of having to find 3 things forced her to scan her reality for positives, however small. She wrote about the sweet taste of a fresh strawberry, the comfort of her favorite old sweater, a funny conversation she overheard at the grocery store, the beauty of a full moon she saw the night before. After a couple of weeks, she noticed that the heavy, sinking feeling in her stomach when she woke up was just a little bit lighter. Instead of her very first thought being, I lost my job, it was sometimes, I wonder what I can find to write in my journal today. This small 5-minute practice was literally retraining her brain. It was creating new neural pathways. It was like she had spent her whole life looking at the world through a camera lens that was permanently focused on problems, and now, every morning, she was deliberately, manually, twisting that lens to focus on the good that was also there, coexisting with the bad. This subtle change in her internal perspective started to have a significant ripple effect on her external life. Because she was feeling slightly more hopeful, she had more energy. She stopped spending all day on the couch. She started going for long walks in the local park, something she hadn't done in years. She started to notice the trees, the flowers, the children playing. On one of these walks, she passed a small local bakery with a help wanted sign in the window. The old Maria, stuck in her fear and resentment, would never have noticed it or would have dismissed it as beneath her. But the new Maria, the one who was training herself to spot opportunities, felt a spark of something she hadn't felt in a long time: curiosity. She had always loved baking as a hobby. On an impulse, she went inside and applied. She got the job. It was part-time, and the pay was significantly less than her old corporate salary. But to her surprise, she loved it. She loved the earthy smell of fresh bread, the warmth of the ovens, the friendly chats with regular customers, and the simple, satisfying feeling of creating something beautiful and delicious with her hands. Working there gave her an idea. She started experimenting with her own recipes at home, combining her passion for baking with her newfound interest in health. She developed a line of delicious baked goods that were also gluten-free and used natural sweeteners. A year later, Maria used her small savings to rent a stall at the local farmers market. Her healthy treats were a huge hit. Her business grew through word of mouth, and she eventually opened her own small, beloved cafe called the Grateful Loaf. She was working harder than ever before, but she was happier and more fulfilled than she had ever been in her prestigious corporate job. When people asked her for the secret to her success in starting over, she would often smile and hold up a simple, worn-out notebook. "It all started here," she would say. "It started with the discipline of being grateful for a single cup of coffee." Maria's story beautifully shows us that gratitude is not a passive feeling that we wait for. It's an active practice, a muscle that we build. It doesn't magically make our problems disappear, but it changes our inner state so that we become more creative, resilient, and resourceful in handling them. It shifts our focus from what's missing in our lives to what is present. It moves us from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance. When you start your day by consciously acknowledging the good, you are sending a powerful message to your brain. There is goodness here. There is beauty here. There is enough. Your brain, like a loyal assistant, will then start to search for more evidence to prove that this is true. You'll start to notice the kindness of a stranger holding a door open, the unexpected beauty of a cloud formation, the simple deliciousness of your lunch. These things were always there, but your brain, previously primed by Alex's morning routine, was too busy scanning for threats and problems to see them. So, how can you start your own gratitude practice? It can be as simple as Maria's. Get a notebook, any notebook, and place it by your bed. Every morning before your feet hit the floor, write down 3 to 5 specific things you are grateful for. The key here is to be specific. Don't just write, "I'm grateful for my family" every day. That can become a meaningless habit. Instead, go deeper. Write, "I'm grateful for the way my son laughed so hard at breakfast yesterday, that beautiful, uninhibited sound." Or, "I'm grateful for the supportive text message my sister sent me right when I needed it." Specificity makes the feeling real and potent. As you write each thing, try to pause for a moment and truly feel the emotion of gratitude in your body. Let the warmth of that feeling fill you up. If writing isn't for you, there are many other ways. You could have a gratitude rock. Find a small, smooth stone, something that feels good in your hand, and place it by your bed. When you wake up, your first action is to pick up the stone. Hold it in your hand and, as you feel its texture and weight, think of 3 things you're grateful for. The physical touch of the stone acts as a tactile trigger, a physical anchor for your mental practice. You can also simply do it in your mind. Lie in bed and mentally list your blessings. Or you can make it a shared practice. If you have a partner, you could start your day by turning to them and saying, "Good morning. One thing I'm grateful for today is..." What a beautiful and connecting way to begin a day together. Let's try a small practice right now. Just for a moment, wherever you are, just pause. I want you to think of one thing in your life, right now in this moment, that you are genuinely grateful for. It could be something big or something incredibly small. It could be the chair you're sitting on that is supporting your body. It could be the technology that is allowing you to listen to this message. It could be the simple, miraculous act of your heart beating, a steady rhythm you don't even have to think about. Just pick one thing. Now, close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you, and really focus on that one thing. Say to yourself, either out loud or in your mind, I am so grateful for, aren't I? And fill in the blank. Try to feel the actual physical sensation of gratitude. Maybe it's a warmth in your chest, a softening of your shoulders. How does that feel? That small, warm, peaceful feeling is what you are choosing to invite into your life every single morning. It is a quiet, internal revolution that starts inside you and transforms the way you experience the world outside you. Do not underestimate the profound power of this simple, consistent practice. It is the solid, unshakable foundation upon which a positive day is built. After we have protected our morning peace from the intrusion of technology and planted the beautiful seeds of gratitude, the next essential step is to ground ourselves firmly in the present moment. This is where the practice of mindfulness comes in. Now, when people hear the words mindfulness or meditation, they often conjure up an image of someone sitting in a perfect lotus position on a cushion in a perfectly silent room for an hour with a completely empty mind. This can be a wonderful practice, but for most of us, especially when we are starting, this image can feel intimidating, unrealistic, and even a bit strange. The good news is that mindfulness doesn't have to be complicated or long. At its core, mindfulness is simply the act of paying attention to the present moment, on purpose and without judgment. It's about getting out of the chaotic, noisy traffic of your thoughts, your worries about the future, your regrets about the past, and just gently noticing what is happening right here, right now. Our minds are like time-traveling machines, constantly pulling us in two directions. Into the past, where we might feel regret, guilt, or sadness, or into the future, where we so often feel anxiety and worry. The present moment is the only place we ever truly live, the only place where we can find real peace and calm. A morning mindfulness practice is how we train our wandering minds to return home to the present, again and again. Let's go back to David's story. David was a loving father of 2 young children and had a demanding job as a software engineer. He felt like he was constantly being pulled in a million directions at once. His mornings were a frantic whirlwind of making breakfast, packing lunches, trying to find lost shoes, mediating sibling squabbles, and getting everyone out the door on time. He loved his family dearly, but he felt like he had zero time for himself. He felt constantly stressed, and his mind was always racing with snippets of computer code, looming project deadlines, and an endless list of household chores. He had heard about the benefits of meditation, but the idea of finding even 10 quiet minutes to himself seemed completely laughable. "Quiet minutes?" he would say to his wife with a cynical laugh. "I don't even have quiet seconds." He was feeling perpetually burnt out, and he noticed his stress was starting to affect his patience with his kids and his ability to focus at work. He was becoming the impatient, irritable father he never wanted to be. One day, he was listening to a podcast, much like this one, and he heard the concept of micro-mindfulness. The idea was that you don't need a long, formal session. You can find and create mindful moments that last only a minute or two, scattered throughout your day. The speaker suggested starting by transforming something you already do every single morning. For David, that one non-negotiable ritual was his morning cup of coffee. Usually, he would drink his coffee while standing over the sink, simultaneously checking emails on his phone, listening to the news on the radio, and trying to hurry his kids along. It was a purely functional act designed to get caffeine into his system as quickly as possible. The next morning, he decided to try something different. He woke up just 5 minutes earlier than everyone else, a small but significant sacrifice. He made his coffee as usual, but instead of taking it into the middle of the kitchen chaos, he took his mug and stood by the living room window where the soft morning light was just starting to come in. For 2 minutes, he gave himself permission to do nothing else but experience his coffee. He held the warm mug in his hands, focusing on the feeling of its heat against his palms. He brought it to his nose and took a deep breath, inhaling the rich, comforting aroma. He took the first sip and paid close attention to the complex taste as it spread across his tongue. He noticed the pleasant warmth of the liquid as he swallowed it. Inevitably, his mind started to drift. "Oh, I need to remember to email that client. Did I pack a snack for my daughter?" Each time his mind wandered, he didn't get angry with himself. He just gently, kindly, guided his attention back. Back to the coffee, back to the warmth, back to the taste, back to the smell. It was only 2 minutes. It was 120 seconds. But for David, it felt like a revelation. For the first time in what felt like years, he had given himself a moment of complete, undivided attention. It was a tiny island of calm in his vast ocean of chaos. He started doing this every single morning. This small 2-minute ritual began to fundamentally change his entire day. Because he started his day from a place of quiet center, he found he had just a little more patience when his daughter couldn't find her favorite socks. Because his mind was less cluttered from the start, he found it easier to focus on the complex coding problems at work. His 2-minute coffee mindfulness became his anchor. It was a powerful reminder that he could choose to step out of the chaos and into the calm at any time. He started finding other micro moments. He would mindfully wash his hands, feeling the sensation of the warm water and the soap on his skin. He would take 3 mindful breaths in his car before walking into a stressful meeting. David didn't add a big, new, time-consuming habit to his already overflowing life. He simply transformed a moment he already had into an opportunity for peace, and that made all the difference. David's story teaches us a valuable lesson. Mindfulness can and should be integrated into the life you already have. Your morning is full of these opportunities. You don't have to add anything. You just have to shift your attention. One of the simplest and most powerful ways to practice mindfulness in the morning is through your breath. Your breath is always with you, from the moment you are born to your final moment. It is a direct and faithful anchor to the present moment. Let's try a very short practice together now. Wherever you are, just get comfortable in your chair. You can close your eyes or just lower your gaze softly to the floor. Now, simply bring your full attention to the feeling of your breath. Don't try to change it or control it in any way. Just notice it. Notice the physical sensation of the air entering your nostrils. Perhaps it feels slightly cool as it comes in. Notice your chest or your belly gently rising as you breathe in and gently falling as you breathe out. Just follow one full breath all the way in and all the way out, and then another. Inevitably, your mind will wander. That's what minds do. It's their job to think. You might start thinking about what you need to do later or something someone said to you yesterday. When you notice your mind has wandered, and you will, just gently and kindly, without any judgment or frustration, guide its attention back to the sensation of your breath. The act of returning is the practice. Let's just sit with our breath for 3 more cycles, together. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Borchora. One more time, a deep, calming inhale and a long, slow exhale. Now, when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. How do you feel? Even just a minute of focused breathing can have a remarkable effect, calming your nervous system and bringing a sense of clarity and space to your mind. You can do this for 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes as soon as you wake up. It's a wonderful way to check in with yourself before you check in with the rest of the world. Another simple morning mindfulness practice is to connect with your body. So often, we live entirely in our heads. Our bodies are just something we use to carry our brains around. A simple body scan can help you reconnect and feel grounded. As you are lying in bed in the morning, bring your curious and kind attention to your toes. Just notice any sensations there. You don't have to do anything. Then, slowly move your attention to the soles of your feet, your ankles, your lower legs, your knees. Slowly, patiently, move your attention all the way up your body, just noticing each part without judgment. This practice helps you to fully inhabit your body and start the day feeling grounded and present. Or, you can practice mindfulness with your first glass of water, just like David did with his coffee. Feel the coolness and smoothness of the glass in your hand. See the clarity of the water. As you drink, imagine it nourishing you, waking you up and cleansing you from the inside out. The point of all these practices is exactly the same: to interrupt the automatic pilot of your mind, to get out of your head and into your senses, to begin your day in the present moment, which is the only place where true peace can ever be found. Choose one of these small practices. Maybe it's 5 mindful breaths. Maybe it's a mindful sip of tea. Commit to trying it every morning for a week. See it not as another chore on your to-do list, but as a beautiful and loving gift you are giving to yourself. The gift of presence. So far, we have created a quiet, screen-free space, filled it with the gentle energy of gratitude, and grounded ourselves in the present moment through mindfulness. These are the foundational pillars of a truly positive morning. Now we can add another powerful and creative layer: the practice of setting an intention for the day. This is a subtle but profound practice that can shape how you experience everything that is about to happen. What exactly is an intention? An intention is different from a goal or a to-do list. Goals and to-do lists are primarily about doing. They are focused on external outcomes and achievements. For example, I need to finish the big report for work, or I must go to the gym for an hour, or I have to make 5 sales calls. These things are often necessary and important, but they can also create a sense of pressure, stress, and a feeling of pass or fail. An intention, on the other hand, is about being. It's about the quality of energy you want to bring to your day. It's about how you want to show up in the world, regardless of the outcomes. It's a guiding principle for your actions, your words, and your attitude. For example, your intention for the day could be to be patient, to listen with genuine curiosity, to move through my day with kindness, or to find moments of joy in the small things. An intention acts like a compass for your heart. Throughout the day, when you inevitably face a challenge, a frustration, or a decision, you can come back to your intention and ask yourself, what would be the most patient way to handle this situation? How can I listen with curiosity in this difficult conversation? It helps you navigate your day with a sense of purpose and grace, rather than just reacting to whatever comes your way. Let's consider the story of Emily, a brilliant university student who was preparing for her final exams. Emily was a dedicated student, but she put immense, crushing pressure on herself to be perfect. Every morning she would wake up, and her stomach would immediately be in knots. Her mind would instantly fill with a stressful, demanding to-do list. I have to read 3 chapters of history and memorize all the dates. I have to solve 50 calculus problems and get them all right. I must review all my chemistry notes. I have to get a perfect score on every exam. This mindset made the act of studying a miserable, anxiety-fueled experience. She was constantly on edge, and she found it hard to concentrate because her mind was so preoccupied with worrying about the future outcome. She was so focused on the goal of getting a perfect grade that she was completely missing the process of learning itself. She started to lose her natural, innate love for her subjects, which were now just sources of stress. Her wise professor noticed her visible stress in class and asked to speak with her. "Emily," he said kindly, "you know the material inside and out. The pressure you're feeling isn't coming from the books, it's coming from inside you. Tomorrow morning, I want you to try something different. Instead of making a list of all the things you have to do, I want you to set an intention for how you want to be." Emily was confused, so he explained further. Instead of focusing on the grade, the external result, what if you set the intention to learn with curiosity? What if you approached your books not as an enemy to be conquered, but as a fascinating world to be explored? This idea was completely new to Emily. The next morning, she woke up with the usual wave of anxiety, but she remembered her professor's words. She sat on the edge of her bed, took a few deep breaths, and said to herself, "Okay, today my intention is simply to learn with curiosity." She wrote it down on a small sticky note and put it on her laptop, where she would see it all day. As she opened her history book, instead of her first thought being, "I have to memorize these dates," she consciously shifted her thought to, "I wonder what it was really like to live in this time. I'm curious about these people's real stories." When she moved to her challenging calculus problems, instead of panicking about getting the right answer, she thought, "This is like a fascinating puzzle. I'm curious to see how these different pieces fit together." Though, this simple but profound shift in her mindset was transformative. The heavy, suffocating weight of pressure began to lift from her shoulders. She found that she was more focused, more engaged, and to her utter surprise, she was actually enjoying the process of studying again. When she got frustrated with a difficult concept, she would look at the note on her laptop and remind herself of her intention. Learn with curiosity. This simple reminder would help her approach the problem with a sense of playful exploration rather than fearful anxiety. In the end, Emily did exceptionally well on her exams. But more importantly, she had learned a valuable lesson that went far beyond academics. She learned that how you approach a task is just as important, if not more important, than the task itself. Setting an intention allowed her to bring her best self, her curious, engaged, creative self, to her challenges, not just her most stressed and fearful self. Setting an intention is a beautifully simple practice. After your gratitude practice or your mindful breaths, just take a quiet moment to ask yourself, how do I want to be today? What quality, what energy do I want to bring to my day? It might be helpful to think of a single word: patience, kindness, focus, courage, peace, joy. Choose a word that resonates with what you feel you need most on that particular day. Some days you might need courage to face a difficult conversation. Other days you might need peace to navigate a chaotic schedule. There is no right or wrong intention. It is a deeply personal guide for your soul. You can say your intention out loud to give it voice. You can write it down and put it where you can see it throughout the day. Or you can simply hold it gently in your heart as you begin your day. When you set an intention, you are no longer just a passive passenger being carried along by the random currents and events of the day. You become the active co-creator of your experience. You are deciding in advance the energy you want to embody and bring into the world. Let's think about some more concrete examples. If your intention for the day is to be kind, you might be more likely to let someone go ahead of you in a traffic jam, to give a genuine and specific compliment to a colleague, or, perhaps most importantly, to be gentle and forgiving with yourself if you make a mistake. If your intention is to be present, you might be more likely to put your phone away during your lunch break and really listen to the person you are with, to take a moment to notice the beauty of the sky on your walk home, or to fully and mindfully taste your food. Your intention doesn't magically prevent challenges from happening. A difficult email will still arrive. Your child might still have a tantrum, your car might still get a flat tire, but your intention gives you an anchor. It gives you a precious pause between the stimulus and your response. Instead of reacting automatically with anger or stress, you can pause, remember your intention, patience, peace, and choose a more conscious, positive, and constructive response. So, let's practice for just a moment. Think about the day that lies ahead of you. What is one quality, one single word, that would help you navigate it with more ease and grace? Maybe it's calm, maybe it's strength, maybe it's playfulness. Whatever it is, just hold that word in your mind for a moment. See if you can imagine carrying that quality with you throughout your day, like a secret superpower you can call upon at any time. This is the power of intention. It's a small hinge that can swing a very big door. It's a gentle whisper to your soul that sets the direction for a more positive and purposeful day. Now that we have attended to our inner world, our mind, and our spirit, it's time to honor the undeniable and powerful connection between our mind and our body. A positive mindset doesn't exist only in our thoughts. It is deeply, fundamentally connected to how our physical body feels. You could do all the gratitude practices and mindfulness exercises in the world, but if your body is sluggish, dehydrated, stiff, and tired, it will be a constant uphill battle to feel energetic and positive. Therefore, the final pieces of our positive morning puzzle are two of the simplest, most primal things imaginable: hydration and movement. These are not about punishing workouts or strict diets. This is about gently, lovingly, and respectfully waking up your physical self, which in turn helps to fully awaken your mental and emotional self. Let's start with the simplest one: hydration. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is naturally dehydrated. During sleep, you lose a significant amount of water through breathing and perspiration. Even mild dehydration can cause fatigue, brain fog, headaches, and a low mood. Often, when we feel tired, grumpy, and irritable in the morning, what we really need is not another hit of caffeine, but a simple, life-giving glass of water. One of the kindest and most effective things you can do for your body upon waking is to drink a large glass of water. Think of this act not as a chore, but as a beautiful and sacred ritual. It is a ritual of cleansing and renewal. As you drink the water, don't just gulp it down, do it mindfully. Imagine the clean, cool water waking up every single cell in your body. Imagine it flushing out any sleepiness, toxins, or stagnation from the night. Imagine it hydrating your brain, helping you to think more clearly and creatively. You can make this ritual even more special. You could add a squeeze of fresh lemon for flavor, alkalinity, and a boost of vitamin C. You could drink warm water, which can be very soothing for the digestive system and helps to get things moving. The important thing is the intention behind the action. You are not just drinking water. You are consciously and lovingly giving your body the most essential element it needs to thrive. You are starting your day with a profound act of self-care. This simple act sends a powerful message to your subconscious mind. I am worthy of being cared for. My health and well-being matter. Next, let's talk about movement. In the morning, our bodies can feel stiff, tight, and creaky from being still for so many hours. Gentle movement is like a lubricant for your joints and muscles. It gets your blood flowing, delivering fresh oxygen to your brain and all your organs. It also releases a wonderful cocktail of chemicals called endorphins, which are your body's natural mood boosters and pain relievers. Again, and this is so important, this does not mean you have to run 5 miles or go to a high-intensity gym class, unless that's something you genuinely love. For many people, the thought of intense exercise first thing in the morning is completely overwhelming and a recipe for failure. We are talking about gentle, joyful, intuitive movement that feels good for your body. This could be as simple as 5 minutes of stretching by your bed. As you reach your arms up high toward the ceiling, imagine you are creating space in your body and your life for positive energy. As you fold forward, letting your head hang heavy, imagine you are releasing any tension, stress, or worry from the night. Pay close attention to the sensations in your body. Move slowly, connecting your movement with your breath. Let's check in with Liam again. Liam worked in an office, sitting at a desk for 8 to 10 hours a day. He constantly complained of a stiff neck, a sore lower back, and a general feeling of being tired and sluggish, especially in the mornings. He hated the idea of exercise. He saw it as a form of punishment, something that was boring, difficult, and for other people. His mornings consisted of rolling out of bed and shuffling zombie-like to the coffee machine, feeling groggy and completely uninspired. A friend suggested he try just a few minutes of morning movement. Liam was immediately resistant. "I'm not a yoga person," he said defensively. His friend replied, "It's not about yoga. It's not about exercise. It's just about moving. Put on one song you absolutely love and just move your body however it feels like moving for those 3 or 4 minutes." Odd. Liam was a big fan of classic rock music. The next morning, feeling a bit silly and self-conscious, even though he was alone, he put on one of his favorite upbeat songs. At first, he just stood there, feeling awkward. But then, the infectious rhythm took over. He started to tap his foot. He started to shrug his shoulders to the beat. He stretched his arms out wide. He did a few silly, uncoordinated dance moves. By the end of the song, he was laughing at himself, and he noticed he was breathing a little deeper and wasn't feeling quite as stiff. He did it again the next day, and the day after that. His 5-minute dance party for one became a non-negotiable and joyful part of his morning routine. It wasn't exercise in his mind. It was an expression of joy and freedom. This simple act of playful movement completely changed his energy levels. He started arriving at work feeling more awake, more positive, and he even noticed that his chronic back pain started to lessen. He wasn't trying to lose weight or build muscle. He was simply inviting joyful movement into his morning, and his body and mind responded with gratitude. What could your morning movement look like? It could be like Liam's, putting on a favorite song and dancing like nobody's watching. It could be 5 to 10 minutes of gentle stretching. It could be a few simple yoga poses. You can find countless free guided videos on platforms like YouTube for 5-minute morning yoga or gentle morning stretches. Or it could be a short walk. If you have the time and the weather is nice, stepping outside for even a 10-minute walk can be magical. Feeling the fresh air on your skin, seeing the morning light, and hearing the sounds of the world waking up can instantly boost your mood and connect you with the natural world. The key is to find something that you enjoy, or at least something that feels good and nourishing to your body. Don't force yourself to do something you hate. The goal is to make this a kind and loving practice, not another form of punishment. So I invite you to think about it now. What is one simple way you could move your body for just 5 minutes tomorrow morning? Could you stretch while your water for your tea is boiling? Could you do a few simple squats while you brush your teeth? Could you put on a beautiful piece of music and just sway to it in your living room? Pair your morning hydration with some form of gentle movement, and you will be giving your body and mind a powerful and loving kickstart for a positive day. You will be telling yourself on a deep, cellular, physical level, I am energized, I am alive, I am ready and able to handle today. We have now explored all the key elements of a powerful and positive morning routine. Creating a screen-free space, practicing gratitude, grounding ourselves with mindfulness, setting an intention, and energizing our bodies with water and movement. It might sound like a lot of things to do. You might be thinking, Sophia, this all sounds wonderful and inspiring, but how on earth am I supposed to fit all of this into my already busy, chaotic morning? This is a very important and practical question. And the answer is absolutely crucial for your success. You don't have to do everything every single day. The goal here is not to create another source of stress or another rigid list of things you can fail at. The goal is to build a beautiful toolkit of practices, a menu of options that you can choose from depending on the day and how much time you have. The most important principle is to start small, ridiculously, absurdly small. Do not try to transform your entire morning overnight. That is a guaranteed recipe for feeling overwhelmed and giving up. Instead, I want you to pick just one thing. Maybe for the first week, your only goal is to not look at your phone for the first 30 minutes of the day. That's it. That is your entire practice. That is your victory. Or maybe you decide to keep your phone routine for now. But you will add the simple practice of writing down 3 things you are grateful for. Just that one thing. Master that one small habit. Do it for a week or 2 until it starts to feel natural, easy, and even enjoyable. Once that habit is established and integrated, you can think about adding another small piece. Maybe you add 5 mindful breaths after your gratitude practice. Then, a few weeks later, you might add a glass of water and a few gentle stretches. This is how sustainable, lifelong change is made. Not through giant, heroic, short-lived leaps, but through small, consistent, gentle steps taken over time. It is infinitely better to do one small positive thing consistently than to try to do 10 things for 2 days and then quit. Be patient and deeply compassionate with yourself in this process. Another vital thing to remember is to let go of the impossible idea of the perfect morning. There will be days when you oversleep and have to rush. There will be days when a child is sick and needs your immediate and full attention. There will be days when you wake up feeling sad, anxious, or just plain awful for no clear reason, and the last thing you feel like doing is being grateful. On these days, please do not beat yourself up. Life is messy and unpredictable. The goal is not perfection. It is intention and consistency over time. On those difficult days, I want you to introduce the concept of the minimum effective dose. What is the absolute smallest possible thing you can do that still honors your intention to start the day well? Sometimes, it might simply be taking one single, conscious, deep breath before you jump out of bed. That's it. Sometimes, it might be just thinking of one thing you are grateful for as you rush to get in the car. That one conscious breath, that one grateful thought, can be the tiny anchor that prevents an entire day from spiraling into negativity and stress. Remember, this is a practice, not a performance. There is no one grading you. This is an act of loving kindness you are doing for yourself. Some days your practice will be long, luxurious, and beautiful, and other days it will be short and messy, and both are perfectly okay and equally valid. Imagine that you are building a house. This house is your well-being, your inner peace. The foundation of this house needs to be strong to withstand the inevitable storms of life. Each of these practices, gratitude, mindfulness, intention, movement, is like a strong, solid stone that you are placing in the foundation of your day. The more consistently you place these stones, day after day, the stronger and more stable your foundation will become. And when the storms of life inevitably come, the stressful project deadlines, the difficult conversations, the unexpected problems, the heartaches, your house will stand strong. You will have a solid base of inner peace, resilience, and strength to return to. You will be less likely to be blown over by the strong winds of external circumstances, because you have diligently built your own internal shelter, stone by stone. This journey is not about creating a life that is free from problems. That is impossible. It's about creating a mindset and an inner state that is strong, flexible, and resourceful enough to handle those problems with grace, wisdom, and courage. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want to leave you with a final, powerful thought. Your morning holds the keys to your entire day. The way you choose to spend your first hour often determines the quality, the mood, and the outcomes of the next 23. You have a choice every single day. You can give that precious power away to your phone, to the news, to other people's demands, and start your day feeling reactive, stressed, and already behind. Or you can choose to claim that power for yourself. You can choose to start your day with intention, with peace, with gratitude, and with profound self-care. You can choose to be Sarah, not Alex. The change doesn't require a lot of money or even a lot of time. It just requires a decision to prioritize your own well-being, a decision to believe that you are worthy and deserving of a peaceful and positive start to your day. It all starts with one small step, one conscious breath, one grateful thought, 1 minute without your phone. So I ask you again that question from the beginning. How will your day start tomorrow? What is the one small, compassionate thing you will do differently, just for you? I encourage you to choose one practice we've talked about today and commit to trying it for the next week. Be curious, be playful, see it as an experiment in your own happiness and well-being. You are the artist of your life, and your morning is the fresh, blank canvas. You have the power to paint it with the vibrant colors of peace, joy, and positivity. Thank you so much for joining me today on Best English Podcast. It has been a true pleasure to share this space with you. I hope that you feel inspired and empowered to take control of your mornings and, in doing so, to fundamentally transform your days. If you found this helpful and you want to continue learning and growing with us, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click that little bell icon, the notification bell, so you won't miss any of our future episodes. We have so much more to share with you on your journey to advancing your English and your life. My name is Sophia. I wish you a beautiful day, starting with a truly beautiful tomorrow morning. Goodbye for now.